of the year. We'll be here at noon on every Monday on game weeks. The two open dates will not have news conferences on those Mondays, but we'll have them on all Mondays and game weeks. And at this point, we'll turn over to Coach Stoops beginning his 12th season at Helm of the Wildcats.
Thank you, Tony. It's good to see everybody. It's great to be back in this room. I think it's been a while since we've had a press conference here in this room. Usually I'm standing in the hallway there after practice dealing with a lot of noise. So it's good to see everybody, and I think it's fair to say that it's nice walking into the office on Monday morning and it officially being game week. I get asked 2,000 times in the off season if I'm ready for the season, and I'm absolutely not ready until we get to this point. And now it feels really good. We know there's still a lot of work to do. Yes, we got ahead on Southern Miss, and we're able to work on them a bit last week, but it's also the beginning of a week to officially get ready. So we have quite a few newcomers in our program that need to find that routine and that rhythm that I have and try to have throughout the year, and so the players can anticipate and they know what to expect on Monday through Friday through game week. So, offensively, probably, for the most part, that's where there's a lot of change. If you look at, maybe 5-6 guys that are, very important roles that hadn't gone through this routine. Defensively, not as many. Maybe Pop and maybe DJ, depending on whether, how many reps he gets or what goes on. But anyway, so offensively, we got to make sure everybody's comfortable, including our offensive coordinator, of, again, just going through our process and what we do throughout the week, and really the routine and the rhythm that I try to have throughout the week with them. And so, it's a first for some new guys, and we'll get through it, and we're looking forward to playing our first game here at home. Obviously a night game, welcoming Southern Miss, and that's a team that you saw very many signs and flashes, beating some good teams last year, and then they have a lot of newcomers, like most teams. And when you look at the transfer portal, look at the change that they have with their OC and DC, and I want to say, probably as many as 10 impact offensive transfers. You don't know exactly what you're going to get, so we have to be prepared for quite a few things heading into the opener. We've done that. We've worked on things throughout throughout camp. So, we just got to handle things in stride. Nothing ever goes as smooth as you want it to. We have to be able to adapt, make adjustments, and nobody panic here in game one, and make the adjustments throughout the game, and go execute and play good football. I'll open it up for questions.
Questions? Well, I think one Tuesday night in camp, you got the guys in the stadium, did the lights and all of that. What is that, the new light system and the environment, recruiting, what does that do for you guys?
Well, I don't think all the lights and the banners were completely done at that point, but we shall see, how that affects recruiting and the environment and everything. I think it was very hard to replicate it exactly. On that Tuesday, we did put them on at times so they wouldn't see them for the first time in a game night. But the lights are new as well, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get over there. We have some players that are new. I think just playing in the stadium's different. The wind blows differently as far as our punt return, kick returns. Just playing in the open field in the stadium, it's important to do that. And playing at night, practicing at night. Also just getting their body acclimated, to coming in, having meetings, having a long break, very similar to what we do in game week right now. Because school started just today, that we've been on one routine. And so I think just that coming in, having meetings like we do on a game night, there's always a long break. I've talked to other coaches, I've talked to other people to see if there's things that they do differently that, with the breaks that you have in the afternoon, and looked at, anything we could do. I mean, as you know, we played some very good games at night, and I don't remember any, but I'm sure we probably played some bad games. So, I'm sure it goes both ways, so we'll see.
Is Corbin Ford available?
He is not.
Is he in that group of extended absences?
Yes. Yes.
Mark, we've talked so much, obviously, about the fourth OC in as many years, and obviously that's a talk during camp, but now, week one, you're, for better or worse, you're used to, dealing with a new guy in that first game. You never know how it's going to go out there on the field until it goes. So have you gotten good with figuring out, okay, here are the hiccups, week one, what are some things to improve on, learning a new guy once you actually get into the game?
Yeah, I think we've really tried to head off all those issues. If we, run into problems, we do have timeouts for a reason. Obviously, we want to save them for 2-minute situations at the end of half in the games should you need them, but also we want to make sure we don't waste plays. We have worked the communication, the new communication, over and over again, all the way from spring all the way through camp. We've practiced it live in the stadium. We try to anticipate those things and head them off before they happen. Nothing, is ever perfect. We're going to strive to be, but, we will see. We're going to go out there with a confidence that we are going to be able to operate smoothly. I love the way he operates. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he anticipates his calls. He is in the box, so he could write down his notes and have his thoughts and his ideas handy and at his fingertips. I think it also helps with the communication to be able to see the defense, see the big picture, and possibly adjust at times as well.
Coach, having a new quarterback, especially in the night game, his first game here at Kroger Field under the lights could cause a lot of first game early jitters. What do you hope to see from Brock and how he adapts throughout the first game?
I think just, a big thing that we talk a lot about is make the routine. And with him, just continue to operate smoothly, continue to make good decisions, and continue to make the simple look simple and the routine look routine. If a guy's open, hit him and catch and run and protect the football and do the basics. If we continue to do a lot of little things, big things will happen. And, I think that's an important message with our entire team early, because I've mentioned it before. You guys have listened to me for 12 years, and for 12 years I've probably talked about it leading into it. Guys want to do too much too early. That they immediately, want the score to be whatever. They immediately want to have their production. They immediately want it all to happen right now. Why? Because they've worked very hard. They've lifted weights, they've ran all summer, they've done these things, they've had all these practices. So they all want, they want it all right now. And that's not going to happen unless they, fall back on the things that they were taught and do the little things. If you continue to pile on and do the little things right and make routine look routine, big things will eventually happen. That's hard. It's hard to preach because guys want it all very quickly.
You talked about this whole offseason, the running back group being a whole committee this year.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Patterson at 2 and Demi at 1. What kind of went into that decision?
Production, just the way that they played, and Jamarion will be very close second, with Jason, so he'll play quite a bit as well.
I admittedly forgot about the 2-minute timeout until watching the games this weekend. I don't know if you were able to watch. Was there anything about all the changes to the game flow that you maybe picked up on seeing them?
Yeah, I think, that's something that Tony and I were just talking about. I was informed. I anticipated it being that way, but it's a full timeout, so again, it's a long stoppage at the end of a game, that could benefit you, or it could be something that you want the clock to go. So, again, it's part of the new, environment, and we'll adapt to it and make sure we try to make the correct decisions.
Mark, what about the tablets? How much have you guys worked with those during camp, and what kind of benefits can they?
Yeah, absolutely have. I mean, John, you've been paying attention in my press conferences? You've been falling asleep on me or what? Come on, let's go. I mean, I've talked about that, so, no, I've mentioned it because it very much is new. Like some of our coaches used it in the bowl game but it's a different system. So it did take some getting used to, honestly. And we have practiced it. We've actually, because if you look at it like this, like in scrimmages, one offense is up against one defense, and then it's usually twos versus twos. So those coaches are up coaching immediately. So we have actually taken the breaks, sit down, for the new people, sit where they're going to sit during games, and actually go through the device to make sure they knew how to operate the device, knew how how it functioned, what it looks like, and we liked it during the bowl game. And the defense coaches used it. Again, different system, similar in some ways, different on the input side. It's from our tech people, it's different, but using it operationally, very similar. So we have practiced that, and I think it's really important with certain positions. You look at offensive line, and give Coach Wolf time to just sit and see what that looks like and make those adjustments with the players. And for the Coach Hamden sitting up in the booth, he's able to just watch every series. It's kind of handy for him if you're sitting at a table, and up in the press box. I think can be very useful. So we practiced. It'll be the same advantage for everybody, and so we'll try to make the most of it.
You guys have talked about the offensive line taking steps forward this year compared to kind of a couple of years ago. You guys struggled starting off, bringing in Coach Warford again. Where is that group at going into week one, and how have they progressed through camp?
Yeah, I like that group. I feel like we're improving. I don't think, everybody always, wants to continue to build the depth that we're looking for. We have to continue to bring some young guys along that we feel like can help and that will be needed to help at some point this season. I think the additions with Mincy and Farmer have really helped us. And, so I feel that presence. I feel the physicality out there. Not perfect and still a work in progress, but I think we're getting better.
Mark, in addition to Jason Patterson, Abasel and Cutter Bowley were true freshmen on the depth chart. What have you seen from those two people?
Yeah, I was one of the guys that I was just talking about with offensive line that we're going to need to help. You look at Malachi as a redshirt freshman and getting better and really working hard, and we're going to need him. But Abba is a guy that is one of those freshmen that takes things very seriously, works very hard, very conscientious, trying to get better each day. When you get close to the ball like that at guard, things happen very fast. It's very difficult to play at a young age, but he's got an opportunity. Hopefully, we can continue to get him reps as the year goes on, get his feet wet. Cutter has been very consistent. We've been very pleased with Gavin and Cutter. Both of them bring, some very good attributes, to the game, to the field, and can do some special things. So we'll see where it goes.
Mark, we talked with Barry on the other day, and he was talking about just, they've had 3 different quarterbacks and 3 different OCs, and it's just a lot of change. How are they connecting with that how's that wide receiver group connecting with Brock? Now that you've seen that transition a couple times for guys like Barry on and Dane.
Yeah, I think, very good. Brock is certainly a guy that's in there all the time, always working at it. If you look at, the way we do things now and the turnover of roster, I don't think maybe it's as big of a situation as it was maybe five years ago, if you will, because you're teaching a lot of new guys anyway. And so I also think what helps is able to spend more time. I hope that pays dividends. I said that before, and I hope it's true. I think we've spent a lot of time. Our coaches have worked with our players a lot. They've had a lot of meetings. They've had a lot of time. They sacrificed a lot of their time in the summer to spend with our players, preparing them, and hopefully that'll correlate to a smoother transition. I like the way Bush teaches. I feel like the players can pick that up very well. And, not only with Barryon and Dane, but you add Jamori and you add Fred. I think two guys that are very important and, very good players that constantly show up in practice, and it's pretty good stable. And then you mix in AB and, Brandon White has had a minor injury for a week or so. Hopefully we'll get him back to full tilt as well because he brings another dynamic that's pretty good. And so, we got to get them all on the same page.
Mark, how do you feel about the overall kicking in?
Yeah. I feel good. Obviously, with Alex, he's a guy that's been very consistent. Has a very strong leg. But you look at Cowway behind him, and man, he has an extremely strong leg. So Jacob, we have a lot of confidence in Alex. I mean, I don't know what the number will be. I mean, but if I know, Jacob has hit. We've tried the 60 3 times, and he hit them all 3 times. Yeah, in full, with full units, offense against defense. So, so we have that as well. And, I've constantly talked about it just to be more consistent, with the punting game. I think Wilson and Aiden, bringing in Aiden, he has an opportunity as well. So, we'll see. And then Aiden is also very strong with kickoffs along with Jacob, between, Aiden and Jacob, our kickoff should be pretty deep, and we should have high kicks and be able to cover and not run into some of the problems that we did late last year.
Going off 10 years ago, but do you use the loss to Southern Miss back in 2014? You said, hey, do you try to use that to put people in high alert?
I mean, we always use anything and just to bring to their attention. I think I would constantly talk about 1 year to the next, whether it's bad streaks or good streaks. It really goes out the window, year to year. You have to go play well in this game. But, I think, it's important for us to do the things we're talking about and constantly do the little things and just not try to get ahead of ourselves is the big thing that I'll try to preach. But, yeah, it'll be brought up. Certainly, they'll have, the players know. They're not oblivious to all that. They understand that we have to go play well. There's a lot of teams that could beat us, and, we could beat a lot of teams.
Going on to that question there, the long snapper with Alex McLaughlin listed as starter, what did you see from him during camp?
It's been very close, with Alex and Walker. Walker snapped for us all last year as a freshman, did a heck of a job, but both of them have been good.
Aside from the obvious, you want to see a win, what are some other things you want to see from the team in week 1 as you try to maybe work out some kinks?
I think just the things that I mentioned, number one, control what we can control, do the little things, take care of our primary responsibility. Guys want to have big vision all the time, and sometimes, you got to zero in on your key, your job to execute and take care of your primary responsibility, and then go play ball. So I think those are the things I'm looking for. Obviously, the operation, how smooth we are. We want to play clean. You got to protect the football. We want to win the turnover battle. But also I think just doing the little things.
You had a lot of awards on the secondary, both safety and cornerback. You foresee that?
Just out of confidence in either or.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
You just foresee that being 2 units and
Just
play a lot of guys.
Yeah, just those guys can play. The safeties, those 3 guys are starters. And so we feel like very good there. And then in the backup role at corner and even opposite Maxwell, we got to continue to evaluate that position. And DJ's not quite been 100% this week as well, this past week, so that, yeah.
You referred to the transfers that they have coming in. Southern Miss has put a lot of good players in the league through the years. And the SEC teams can't get all of them, so how would you assess their talent level going into this one? Because they're kind of fly below the radar a little bit.
Well, again, very, very good team, very well coached. Will Hall, I don't know him very well, but we competed against each other. His background, he's got a good, solid background. With some years with Bobby Petrino, and so. I think he was at Louisville maybe 1 year. We crossed over, maybe in 17 maybe. But they have 10 new guys, new quarterback, so we'll see. It's hard to assess that until you put it all together and get out there and play. I think most teams will tell you, them and us and everybody, you're worried about yourself, how you execute, how you play, how clean you operate and all that. So, very good. I mean, I know a year ago, great running back in Frank Gore Jr. I happened to be at Miami when his father played at the U, and so Frank Gore Jr. was one heck of a player in his own right.
Mark,
You guys
Bush
have-
and Brad during camp talked about the benefit of having all those analysts able to coach on the field. Now, does that change the game day operation much at this point? Or?
Not too much. I think eyes and vision, and not having. I mean, we want to make sure the coordinators still have the opportunity to do what they need to do, and in between series there'll be a lot more communication. There'll be a lot of iPads, a lot of eyes, to kind of see what's going on and try to educate our players. I think it's a big thing.
Mark, the fan base this year seems really excited, probably the most excited it's been in recent memory. What, if anything, do you guys feel within the building, and how does that help kind of the team going in, knowing that the fan base is really excited and behind them going into the season?
Yeah, I think it helps immensely. We feel that passion and energy, and we certainly feel it in the stadium. We have 8 home games. We want to go deliver. You've heard me say it many times. I feel, a deep obligation to put a team out there that they're proud of, and if they're excited about it and want to come watch us, that's a good first step. Now we got to go play well, and we want to do that. It's important to us, to go out there and coaches coach and players play and do the very best we can, but we're excited about it. Can't get too far ahead of ourselves. That's the big thing. Everybody always wants to talk about the schedule, and it's like, hey, let's go worry about Southern Miss. To your point, a few years back, they took care of us, and there were some lessons in that game that I carried with me. You've heard me talk about scars and, calls and plays and things that happen. I mean, I remember very exactly what happened at the end of that half. I remember exactly the call we made. I remember exactly the mistakes I made. You know what I mean? And you're thinking they're running out the clock. I let a call go. I should have called timeout and regrouped. That's on me. And but that was a long time ago, but I don't forget.
Mark, you had a few guys injured on that defensive line, and Brad said that early in the preseason, he said, you never want that to happen, but if it could happen to a group, that's where the depth that it could happen at. How are those guys doing, of course, but outside of Dion and Keyshawn, those kind of guys, how are the guys behind them doing as you need depth there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a deep group, with Trayvon and Ox and Dion, and, all of them have played very well. Khalil is a guy we have a ton of confidence in. Keyshawn's played very well, and, we got to get a guy like Kendrick Gilbert. We got to get him, to continue to grow, continue to get better, bigger, stronger, be able to handle the SEC reps that are coming down the stretch. So, I think it's always a work in progress developing guys, and you've heard us talk about it before. We have a unit on defense where there's a ton of experience, and then we have some youngsters that we have to bring along.
Mark, in this portal era where you can't necessarily count on guys being here for 5 years anymore, does that affect your redshirt decisions at all? Like, are guys ready to go on special teams, you just throw them out there?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. If they could help us, they're going to help us. If they could play some special teams, there's a lot more accountability there than even they understand. The way we practice, talk about it, the way we go in meetings, the intensity of Coach Boulware, and how he goes about special teams. I mean, that's some serious business, and we let nothing slide. And so those players understand it, but I think, media covering it, fans, I mean, if they can help us, they're going to help us. And there's a lot of young athletes that can run, and we need them to continue to grow up and play. And then that's the first step, with them is being accountable and helping us on special teams. If they can't do little things, they can't do big things. And we talk about that all the time. And a little thing might be the backside of kickoff return or finishing a block or doing some things that nobody sees. But if you execute it and you do your job, then big things may have happened, so, we'll harp on that and we'll continue to bring those guys along.
Mark, what is your assessment of the tight end group?
It's a good group, there's some experience in there, so, Caddis is a guy where, again, Josh, you just want him healthy, and I think that's something that we have to protect him a little bit and just make sure that he's ready to go. Jordan is a guy that, we have a lot of confidence in. Kamari, you want to see growth out of him. And, the other one that showed up in camp that we think can contribute is Willie as well. Willie Rodriguez is a guy that has shown us, done some good things.
Okay, folks, thank you very much. Just a reminder of normal game weeks schedule. We have offensive players